evening, everyone. Good evening. Thursday night, Zoom, welcome back. We have 8 out of the 10 people. We're looking good. Just a quick little pitch here. Polly's halfway home.
Oh, well, more than halfway home.
More than half, yes. You could probably make it in 12 hours if you had to or less. So.
Oh,
less.
Yeah, big. Yeah, you're right. You're
8 hours.
less. Yes, less. And there's a new face on the Brady Bunch screen. I just want to say hello to Brooke and tell us who you are, how you found your way here.
Well, I'm me. I moved to Pittsburgh 2019, I guess. So this last year has kind of been strange. Like I've been just at home the whole time, not meeting anyone or doing anything, but I'm kind of trying to come out of a bubble and get things going and start a business and meet people and network. And so here I am.
Very cool. Very cool.
Welcome.
And is photography connected, I hope? It doesn't matter.
Yes. Portrait.
Excellent.
Yeah, portrait photography.
Cool. Our former president is at the front door, so let me let him in.
Okay. So Brooke brought up something on, because you're I'm assuming you are Brooke Noel, right?
Yeah, on Facebook.
Facebook.
I should have changed it on here too. I just try not to use that last name anymore.
Okay. No worries.
I'll always remember you by Martina McBride, so that'll be my connection, my memory.
But it won't be McBride for long. So
Gotcha.
So, Brooke, where did you live before coming to Pittsburgh?
well, for the most part, I grew up in England, in London, and then I came to America in mid 90s. So it's been a while. I lived mostly in the San Francisco Bay Area, predominantly for around 20 years. That's where I kind of started in America and photography, and got introduced to ASMP and stuff when I was doing my master's in photography program there. And I was there a lot. And then I moved about 3 years ago. I actually lived in Nashville for a year because my mother lives there.
Okay.
And then met my current, just very recent fiance when I was in Nashville. And then we moved up here in 2019 because he used to live here. He grew up in Ohio in Youngstown and wanted to move back to Pittsburgh. And I said, sure, let's do it. So here I am, just trying to find my way in town and, get things going and learn the ropes.
Where are you living in town?
I live in Polish Hill.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So
That's a quirky neighborhood.
it's great. I like it so far. It's been good.
Yep.
And I won't get myself started, but I spent part of the afternoon watching Monty Python clips and Catherine Tate, and I watch Doctor Who every day.
Oh.
So we'll have to compare notes from the source.
Yeah.
Quick question: Do you like the female doctor?
I haven't seen that. I stopped watching it with the last Scottish guy.
Oh yeah. Well, he was just the last one, but
yeah.
I
haven't seen any of the new ones, so
you'll have to let me know your opinion. So Jen, you've been the buzz of a few people's texts to me all this week. So I guess you're getting ready for doing takeovers.
Yeah, and we'll get to that. But first, we're on the Brooke had. I wanted to focus a little bit more on Brooke's question she posted on Facebook as far as starting a business here.
Okay.
So did you have a photography business in Nashville or in San Francisco?
In San Francisco, I did have a portrait studio. I was a freelance photographer. It was kind of a long story. Well, I'll make it really, really, really fast. I worked as a staff photographer for a food and drink magazine for a while. I freelanced as a product photographer. And I'm sure I didn't run business right at all because I was literally winging it and just I don't know, making shit up, but it was great for a little while. And then I was a portrait photography studio manager for a few years. So learned a bit of business, but in California there, and had a portrait studio that was short-lived of my own. It didn't really get off the ground because then I moved. So since then, you know, I've traveled a bit. I went to Nashville, then I've come here, and I just am now at the point where I want to, you know, open my business. But I don't know anything about what the requirements are here in Pittsburgh, as far as, you know, what I need, as far as licenses, or, you know, all the paperwork, registering, any kind of stuff that I need to have in place to have a business begin. And also was particularly interested to hear about working with hair and makeup, because I heard some like weird things through the grapevine about it, and I was confused. So I just wanted to know what the rules are around doing hair and makeup. Do you have to hire a licensed professional? Can you do it yourself? Like, you know, just what are the restrictions? Because, you know, it's different everywhere you go. So, yeah.
Cool. So I think we have some good perspectives from several people who have had longtime businesses in this room. Have you, I may have put it in the chat, did you go to the resource PA Open for Business?
Yeah.
So, okay, so I mean, that gives a some of the general, right?
Right. The Pennsylvania one-stop shop for opening a business or something. I found that, and that was great because it kind of gave me a little bit of a, like, you do this, then you do this. But there was still some sort of like more vague things that weren't, you know, totally made clear. One was like, as well, because I have a space in my house that I use, that I've been using just for like portfolio pieces with people I know. But as far as like having paying clients in a home studio, I didn't know like if that was like allowable or a zoning thing, or, you know, like that kind of thing. But it turns out, you know, I probably won't shoot here. I'm probably going to find a share space instead, just partly because of COVID, and also because my space is so small, and you have to like come, you can't get to the studio room without going through the entire rest of my house. so I'm kind of like, maybe it's really not that great, but yeah. So I'll probably just focus on trying to find a studio. I just was hoping to save a little bit of money in the beginning while I'm, you know, just getting off the ground and don't have a lot, you know, really any income at the moment. So
there's a lot of things in there. So
yeah,
Mark,
sorry.
who wants to go first, Mark or Elliot?
Go one at a time.
Yeah.
What? How about hair and makeup artist?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm under the understanding that if you do hair for commercial profit, you need to have a beauty school certificate or license. To do makeup, I'm looking at it right now here, is I don't know if you need a license I'll have to look that one up, but I believe that if you're going to do any commercial work with hair, you need to have a license. And I believe that's a mandate across all 50 states.
Now, is that only if you cut hair, or can you style hair?
Style. Even if you do an updo. Now, in the grand scheme of things, as long as no one turns you in, no one's going to give a crap. But you know, if you're going to be on the commercial end of things and doing stuff, you need to be working with professionals. Same with like drone photography and video. You know, you can go out and drive a drone, but once you start doing it and getting paid, it's technically illegal. You need to have a license. So
I just turned the job down today. A drone job. It was in Class B airspace at real close to the airport.
yeah.
So no, not flying out there.
And
So I'll read up on the makeup part here.
When you say commercial, you mean basically that just means if you're charging, right?
If the person is going to earn money off of their services, that's called commercial work.
Right.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be allowed to touch their hair at all if they're paying
Well,
me. I
Well,
mean, other than
I
just
mean,
being
you're
like,
the
"Oh,
photographer, so you're kind of helping make a photo, right?
yeah,
And that's one thing. What I understood and what you asked was having someone come in and you
Yeah.
pay them to fix someone's hair and makeup. So technically that would need a license. Now, if you had an assistant who could help style some hair to do a favor for the person, you
And
know,
I've
sure.
been touching hair or photographing wigs since 1985. And they would lock me up a long time ago if it if it's not something I can reach in and do. I mean, my joke is I don't have hair, but I know what to do with it.
Pennsylvania does not have a designated makeup license. So you'd have to earn a cosmetology or, and I apologize, esthetician license.
Esthetician, yeah.
Now, and Brooke, I can rattle off a lot of names of people that I've used at different price breaks. And I've known them for anywhere from 25 years to 5 years and trust them, with anybody that that they work with. And I know a lot of them are also in union or in the union so they can work the movies that come into town. So, but from a still photographer hiring a makeup artist, I've always just made the call and never look at the credentials.
Now, Brooke, were you asking because it's also something you do, or you were asking with
Yeah, I
the
mean,
idea?
I am not trained at all, but I have been helping people with their hair and makeup. Basically, they apply their own makeup and kind of more or less style their hair, but I might help them with it, and I might, like, touch their hair and maneuver it and put it in places, and um
When you're taking pictures,
yeah, when for that purpose, yeah.
I don't think you have a problem at all there.
All right.
I'm not a
That's it.
lawyer. No one here's a lawyer. We should say that.
Yeah. So I mean, that might be okay, but like if, when I'm hiring somebody, I just wondered, I would assume if I'm hiring a hair and makeup artist that they have training and whatever credentials they need to be
Yeah.
employable.
And most of the people also, I mean, just to be in a hair salon, they have to have these credentials. So if you're getting someone who likes to do this on the side and also working at a hair salon, they're coming with that stuff anyways, right? What you have to be aware of is like Saturday morning soccer mom who thinks it's cool, right, to do something like this. That's where you're like, well, you really need to maybe find someone who's in the business, right?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Just kind of a general question about it.
Mhm. A home studio, you guys might be able to answer that more, but I don't think there's a problem with the home studio as long as you're not doing business outside of a certain time frame. Is that correct? Do you guys know?
I only have the experience of filling out the 1040 and working out the square footage from this year. Zoning wise, I have no idea. You did mention that, right, Brooke?
Well, I didn't know if that was a thing or not. So like yeah.
I think it's by borough. I've always wondered, like, if I had if I built something, then the borough will know that. I mean, then I'm under scrutiny. But yeah, I'm sure each borough has their own thing. Sorry.
And my studio was across the street from where I live here on the north side, and it's been a studio, it's been a business forever. So that particular building has been zoned as a business forever. But just starting in June or July, I've been working out of my apartment first floor. So don't ask, don't tell, and there's a lot of other people after me for worse thing. Well, no, not for worse.
Watch it, Art.
I've done a lot more wrong in the bookkeeping department and running a business department And that's why ASMP is a great benefit. I'm bringing it full circle, Jen. That's why ASMP is such a useful tool, that it got me back on track. It continues to teach me a lot, and all the resources are there. In some cases, you're not even a member and you can get good resources, and you even get more resources when you are a member. So
So here's a thought. You know, that one of the things you probably need to consider is the liability issue. That if there should be, something should happen to a client or to an assistant while they're on your property, would your policy cover it? Because you're basically, is it a residential policy? Is it a multi-policy? Is it a commercial policy? So that's where I think it could get tricky, and that is where you would want to protect yourself.
good point. Very
Sure.
good point.
Certainly, and that's the number one reason you want to not be a sole proprietor,
Mhm.
and then have your home. Your home. The problem is if they're coming in home during certain business hours, your bro's going to want to know what's going on, and they're going to catch you sooner than later, or later than sooner. It might be, eventually they'll get you. And I just sent a note to a friend who recently has been going through some things. So hopefully they get to me here right now. But I mean, are you like pumping people in and on the daily?
No, I don't have any clients at all yet. I'm literally just starting from scratch here. So I haven't even done any marketing or anything. So I'm just at the point where I was trying to figure out what I need in place as far as like a business license and, just the initial stuff so I can
Yeah.
operate as a business. So, and a lot of it is answered on the Pennsylvania side. And I think I found the right website for Pittsburgh. As far as I could tell, their site isn't fantastic, but yeah, but it's likely that I won't be running my business from here anyway, because I just feel like it would be more appropriate for me to have a studio space separate that is dedicated to that. So,
But it's not a bad way to start out on the sly to get your business off and going, kind of, with people who are comfortable with the arrangement. I think the biggest thing is best business practices. Oh, is that new?
It's the newer edition, and it's probably the best $30 or $40 you'll ever spend in your life.
Is that the ASMP new one? Why doesn't mine look like that?
New cover for
A
sure.
minute.
Well, this is the John Harrington one, and this go over why. I mean, really, to start a business, I believe in America, and I could be wrong, is you could basically say, I'm a business, and then you can keep moving. You don't really need anything extra in this business to really kind of go take pictures. But there's insurances, there's lots of things you need to do to make sure you're safe and others are safe, and make sure that you're doing the right thing. But this book will be an amazing tool to help you, guide you through, like, should I be an S Corp? Should I be a C Corp? Should I be an LLC or an INC? And
I was
how do I?
thinking a bit about it, and I thought, just from what I read, that it would be best to start as a sole proprietor, but
single liability corporation, is that what it's called?
Well, no, she's saying don't be an LLC, just start out. I'd say if you don't want to file an LLC right away, which it's a couple $100 or whatever, it's not hard to do, but just make sure you start your business operating under an EIN, which is just a form on the federal website. You start your business off not using your social security number. It'll make you feel more comfortable with giving your W-9 out and things like that.
Get
So
an EIN.
Yeah.
EIN number.
Yeah. So get your EIN.
And you should become a sole proprietor, a corporation working as a sole proprietor.
Well, so, or a single
Single-
member LLC.
A
Correct,
single-
that's what
Single
it is.
entity.
Yeah.
Single member LLC, that's what it is.
So,
I
and
think-
as a single member LLC, you do a Schedule C, you do normal taxes, whereas like me, I'm a double member, so I have to do corporate taxes for mine. So, Alan,
Alan, our
Quick input.
treasurer-
Take advantage of Allegheny County Community College. Look up a course they have on how to start a small business. It's usually taught by a local CPA that teaches classes on the side. They can answer lots of these questions you have. And then check with your local municipality, borough, whatever, as far as licensing is concerned. A couple of things that they're really concerned with. I did mine fairly recently, so I had to re-up it. So I recall that they're concerned about parking, how many people you have in and out of your place. And that's the first way that your neighbors are going to start complaining about you, is you have a lot of people in and out and taking up parking along the street, especially if it's limited in your area. And the second thing is they're going to want to know, if you're running a business from home, do you have any type of hazardous materials? How many people are in and out as far as like the fire code and whatnot?
Yeah,
Good.
that's a good point, because actually I only have one exit. That's it. There's only one door to get in and out, and that might not work.
not as a permanent business place.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
All right, well, I might just like not do, paying shoots here. I might just do portfolio shoots where it's like, low key, no money, whatever, but when I start doing paying shoots, I think I'm gonna find a space. So
Oh,
I think that, I was just about to say, I don't see any reason why you can't get yourself going and not worry too much about it. And then once you're like, I should probably get a space, that means it's time to get a space.
yeah,
and
I already
before-
feel that way, but
Okay, well,
but
then get a space,
these
yeah.
are all questions that I've been mulling over in my head. So
And
Yeah.
Brooke, before I forget, there's a small film processing camera store in North Hills called, help me if I'm wrong, people, Premier Imaging.
Oh,
oh right, I know it. Yeah.
They have a little area in the back that they use for their studio, and they rent for $35 an hour,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly. That's pretty reasonable rate, and in the space across the street from me, I think it's called Studio Avery, and it's a video place, and they rent, but I'm sure at a much higher rate.
Hmm.
But the place across the street on Avery, nice shooting space, might have a green screen now since it's a video studio. But again, there's other places, but those are probably on the more reasonable side off the top of my head. And Alan, there was a treasurer's question, but it slipped out of my mind. I'll text you if I remember.
And then after, like, so, well, liability insurance, obviously. If you get your EIN, if you're just making you're just gonna make your business your name, kind of, or your name's in your business? Nothing like fictitious?
Well, I have a different name. So I'd do if it was a sole proprietor, I'd have to do a DBA thing, doing business as, because it's not going to be my name. That's
Okay,
what I understand anyway.
So if it's a fictitious name, you
Yeah.
have to do that register. But I'd say the biggest thing other than that is your taxes. And just and registering for sales tax, something a lot of photographers don't do.
Oh yeah.
So
Good
that's your big one, is set up a sales tax account with the state.
It
They
took them a
find-
few years, but they found me, yes.
Yeah.
So I'd say those are the biggest things that, probably. Anybody else have anything like wisdom as far as that to make sure to handle when you're getting going?
Charge properly and take it day by day. I don't, if you have the money and the resources to go all in, go for it. But if you don't, pick something, learn as much you can about it, and then, set yourself up so you're confident, then move to the next thing. I think that's the best way to go about it.
Yeah. You need a good accountant as well.
Yeah.
Always a good thing to have a lawyer that you can call on, or an accountant, certainly an accountant you could use every year. They'll save you a lot of money. They'll save you more money than you'll spend on them usually.
A lawyer?
No,
Or you
an
mean
accountant. A good accountant.
Do you have one you want to share with the group? Or
Yeah,
you're
I
keeping them all
got
to
a
yourself?
wonderful gal. She's in Sheridan. She's on Chartiers Avenue. Her name's Amy Peak. If I would have had her 10, 15 years ago, I'd be in a much better financial position than I am now. My old accountant really did not do me any favors.
And my guy's amazing. His name is Ken Herman, HERRMANN. I know I always get it wrong.
Hold on. Oh, that's a lot of extra letters.
Yeah. He's at Herman and Law, but he's here in my town in Beaver. He's great. He's helping me get through a lot of stuff at the moment too.
Hey, you know what we should do is maybe everybody put a list of people that they use together and just, share that.
Yeah.
You know?
Or we can invite one of them on for a special programming
Ooh.
thing, and people can ask them questions and they may get new clients from it.
Well, I'm sure Amy would do it. She'd be interested.
We can have a programming all about, I don't know.
She's a young gal. She's probably in her, I guess, early 30s, but she's really sharp. I like her.
Where's this number?
And during tax season, she always wears a hat. She's like, what do you call it? Superstitious, because she doesn't want to get sick during tax season. She's always got a knit hat on when I see her, because I always see her at tax season. I don't know what her hair looks like. I've never seen her hair. Anyway, that's that.
And Jen, and I have some people I could maybe recommend for a retirement program.
Oh, awesome. Because that was on my, did I tell you I wanted to do one on retirement?
No, I've been wanting to do one for a while. I think COVID kind of got us all a little shaken up, but these guys at the Spanos group are pretty awesome. He wrote a book that I read from front to back and made me really smart.
Okay, that's awesome. Because you know what, like I was thinking the other day about, well, because I've been talking to a bunch of the different professional members, like what they'd like to see as far as local content and kind of stuff. And so that got me thinking about, which we can talk about some of that tonight too. But then as I was thinking of retirement, and the reason why is because, well, I don't know if a lot of photographers even think of retirement, but what kind of made it stand out to me is that we had a picture framing business. Replacing your paycheck. Oh, he likes books. Can you tell by his background?
Well, and I don't read. I suck at reading.
So a couple, 2 years ago, I had to make a decision if we were keeping our picture framing business or not, because our location had changed and our shop wasn't the same. We didn't have the same circumstances as before. So I went to the trade show for picture framers, like the only one in the United States, out in Las Vegas, and like took in all the information. And then at one of the keynotes, basically they were talking about the picture framing industry today, because my dad had, I mean, that was our entire livelihood as a family, and my dad retired on it. I mean, did very well. I mean, we weren't wealthy, but he's retired and he's at 67. So anyway, at this conference, what I got from this one keynote, that is, if you want to retire as a picture framer, you better buy your building.
Oh, absolutely.
And then that was one of the indications that there was no money in that business to retire from straight from that business. And I was out. So yeah, that would be good for a thing, have that too.
I think those kind of conversations are really important, Jen, because I think that's almost true today in our business, is
Hey.
if you own the building, you can last a lot longer. And
Elliot,
yeah.
just before I let him in the room, Tom Madry's in the waiting room.
Oh yeah,
Let him in.
I invited him because we were talking about trademark, and I emailed him right before this.
Let him in. Let him in. Here he is. Brooke, you're getting the man, the myth, and the legend tonight.
Oh, and Ken's here too. Sorry, not you, Ken. We were talking about Tom.
Yeah, just Ken, but Tom Madry is the man, the myth, the
Yeah,
legend.
Tom,
Oh my
your
gosh.
timing was amazing. And hello, Ken.
Look at that introduction. Look at that. Introduction.
And actually, I was texting my treasurer with a gift card, old gift card question, but that's for another time. That's for another
Okay,
time.
all right. Yeah,
time.
you don't want to get me started on gift cards again. I'll
No,
go crazy.
no.
Well, I heard there was a trademark question going on.
Yeah, real quick, Brooke and Adri, Thomas Madry is the legal counsel, accountant extraordinaire for AS
Attorney.
National.
Yeah.
Attorney
Oh.
and legal counsel. So anyways, I wanted they're our guests tonight, and special drop-ins. I wanted them to know who you were. And Jen is the boss of the questions. Throw it at them.
And just to bring you up to speed, Tom, Brooke was asking about starting a business in Pittsburgh. We were just giving information back to her, what we knew about our area. And so again, and Elliot was showing that off. So we were just, your timing couldn't have been better.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so Catherine had mentioned in that post, so we invited her, but she's not here tonight. And at first, like, I took that post personally. Like, I've had different businesses, some with fictitious names, and trademark was never really that big of a deal to me. And I think her main worry about this was through Facebook, which is something I really don't take seriously on that either. And I'm not saying I'm right or wrong on that. So what's your thoughts about trying to trademark a business with your name as part of it, if you're not like, Calvin Klein or something like that?
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the opportunity to talk about trademark. I don't get to do it nearly enough, even though I enjoy it very much. And as you pointed out, Jen, there's not a lot of information at ASMP about it, so we'll remedy that. So I'll give you kind of the 5-minute trademark basics here, and then I'll see what I can do to answer that question. So you hear me talk about copyrights a lot, and copyrights protect creative's work, right? The actual work itself. Trademark is something totally different. The purpose of a trademark is to prevent consumer confusion. And so it's not about protecting someone's work. It's not about protecting a logo. What it's about is, if I go into a McDonald's on the East Coast and I go into McDonald's restaurant on the West Coast, I expect the same thing. And the government says you should expect the same thing, because if you use the same name or the same logo, then you could confuse the various consumers. I can't open a restaurant here that sells hamburgers and call it McDonald's and put up the golden arches, right? So it's all about preventing consumer confusion. In that view, the question then becomes, well, do photographers ever need trademarks? I think that trademarks can be a real important part of photographers' IP strategy. That's intellectual property strategy, right? And you can trademark certain things and you can copyright certain things, and then there's stuff in the middle. So for example, we all know we can copyright a photograph, but we can't trademark a photograph. We can trademark a logo and we can copyright a logo. And we can trademark a slogan like "Just Do It," but we can't copyright a slogan, because that's just words, right? You can't copyright just a collection of words. So trademark and copyright overlap, but they're in unique areas. And that brings back to the question, well, what about trademarks and business names? Most photographers and most business owners don't trademark their businesses, their business names. Now, there are some good reasons why you might want to. And one of the biggest reasons why you might want to is that if your competitor, who has the same name as you do, has trademarked their name, they can then send you a letter saying, stop using your business name because it's confusing my consumers, right? And that may be a valid letter occasionally. Now, there's a lot to trademark law about when the work was first used in the marketplace, right? Which means if you've been around for a number of years, you have more right to a trademark than, or to protection than someone who's been around a few months. But that all goes out the window if the other party files for a trademark and you don't. So all of that to say, how do you evaluate these situations and protect your name? If you have a common business name or a fanciful business name, and fanciful is actually in this sense, a legal term. The trademark office uses the word fanciful. You can get a trademark on it. And I might recommend that if there are others in your market that your clients would be confused if they saw that, or if you work in a broader sense, on Facebook, a lot of times you're searching photography from all over the country, right? And so you might come up with the same name a number of different times. Now that brings to that idea about Facebook. Could that person get a trademark and then call Facebook and say, stop this other person from using it? Facebook doesn't really get involved in those type of trademark disputes, but they do from time to time. I've seen it happen. Some of my clients have been able to get others to stop. Now, the times that that's occurred is when it's clear that the other party just used the same name to confuse consumers, to get the clients that, the original person had. I actually ran into this with a jams and jelly company out of Montana, which is about one of the weirdest clients you might imagine me having. But another jam and jelly company from the next state over decided to use the same name and make their website just like one letter different. And it worked for a while till I sent a mean letter. So that, in a nutshell, is trademark and copyright and how you might operate there. Do I think trademarks can be a good idea to protect your business name? Absolutely. I think there's a place for that. So happy to answer any questions.
Thanks. That was awesome.
Yeah. Well, yeah, sure.
I have the right question to ask because Brooke is about to start her photography business, and she said the word soul prop, and I said, well, if Tom Madry was here, he'd have a heart attack. So if you could give her your 20 or not 20 minute spiel, but your quick spiel on the proper thing.
I have never been able to complete a sentence in less than 20 seconds. So I will give just a few minutes and say, you really want to be an LLC. And I can almost say that without knowing anything about your business, right? The reason is that the LLC, the LL stands for limited liability. And that's really what we care about. Because when you're a sole proprietor, you personally are on the hook for anything that happens in your business. You and your business are the same thing, right? So here's an example. I don't know what type of photography you do. What type of photography do you do?
One question though, what if you're doing business as, and you're still a sole proprietor? That doesn't separate you, you just have a different name. So it's still the same thing essentially.
Still the same thing, still the same thing.
All right. Yeah, portrait photography, so.
Okay, great. So you are, someone comes into your studio, you go to them and they have a child and the kids run around the studio and trips over one of your light stands and, hurts themselves. And guess what? You're getting sued. I'm just going to tell you, if they're seriously injured, you're going to get sued, right? And so one, have insurance, but two, if you get sued, you want the limitation of your liability to be the amount of money that's in your bank account for your business, not you personally, right? And that's where there's a shield between the liability for your business and you as an individual, okay? And I don't know the exact rules, I don't have it in front of me for Pennsylvania, but normally LLCs are pretty inexpensive to set up and maintain. And the final thing about LLCs is that if you are a single member LLC, it's considered a disregarded entity by the IRS, which means you can be taxed exactly like a sole proprietorship. You can get a Schedule C. You can be taxed like a partnership or an S Corp or a C Corp or anything you want. Okay. So you can have the simplicity of a sole proprietorship with the liability protection of an LLC as a single member LLC. And then you can get as many assumed names as you want to. So you can have Brooke McBride photography, Brooke McBride portraiture. Those are like DBAs for your LLC. In most states, they call those assumed names. And they're also really inexpensive.
But then I wouldn't have to get a DBA because just doing the LLC would basically take care of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now I've had some,
as the name of it. So.
right. I've had some clients who have had like two different types of work they do. So it might be, you know, so-and-so sports photography and so-and-so portraiture, but they want to keep them separate. You can have an LLC have multiple names like that with no problem and market them differently.
Oh, cool. Well, that's good. That's very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can share some local PA information. I got my LLC set up 5 years ago. I was lazy and paid a lawyer to do it. $500. The guy did the thing. His address is on my thing. That is where any subpoena goes, which is convenient. I know there are people that you can set it up here yourself. And Pennsylvania LLCs do not expire. They are forever.
Perpetual,
Pretty
yeah.
darn close.
Yeah.
Perpetual. See, Tom's got all the good words that I don't have.
But, I mean, I wouldn't need a lawyer to do it, right? It's just.
You don't need a lawyer to do your LLC. It can get a little tricky depending on state tax because you have to register with the tax authorities and some other things. If you're doing portraiture, you probably have to be aware of sales tax issues. So you want to have an attorney and an accountant kind of in your world, right? That is always of some benefit, but you don't need one to form an LLC.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was hoping. I have very limited funds at the moment that definitely an attorney could come a little later. But, you know, I will look into an accountant more or less right away, you know, soon. But I wanted to take care of all the like official, like registering LLC, like blah, 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 things that are required to be a business. I wanted to take care of those and probably do them myself just because. Yeah. I mean, I'm not earning an income right now until I get business going, and I've got enough money to live on for 2 or 3 months. I might have to get a part-time job in the meantime, but you know, so I'm trying to do most of it myself, and then as I actually have income and money in the business, like I can look at getting it, you know, something like a lawyer, but. You know, because I just don't have the funds to kind of do everything exactly the best way right at the beginning and pay everybody. Because, you know, it's like, I don't know.
Totally
You know what I mean?
understand. Totally understand.
So, yeah.
And
So
I've
worked towards that.
Yeah, and I've done my own LLCs, you know, but when you're a simple business, it's not as big of a deal as if you're going in something with partners too, then you better get a lawyer, you know, but.
Yeah, I'm trying to get as simple as possible. So yes. And I've already looked up a lot of that information, and you know, I'm fairly good at just reading information and following instructions. So hopefully I'll work it out.
And if you hang around ASMP long enough and listen to Tom, I heard the word partner out of Jen's mouth. So that's like the worst thing you could ever do.
Yeah, we want to be, when we have an LLC, we have multiple members. We get scared of partners, but I probably need to do a refresher on that. I haven't been able to lay into partners in a while, so. Yeah.
So here's a question while you're here. I don't want to take up too much of your time though, because I know a lot of people think that when they get it, they form their business as an LLC, that they're bulletproof. But so tell me if you can shed a little light on the whole piercing the corporate veil as far as when people think they may be bulletproof and nothing can hurt them, but you still can be.
Right. So It's a really good question, and one that I think we don't talk about enough, which is there's a lot of benefits to the LLC, but there are different ways that you can lose those protections and not even know it, right? And so that phrase you use, piercing the veil, piercing the corporate veil, has to do with the idea that, remember, as a sole proprietor, you and your business are exactly the same. And when you start an LLC, you and your business are now separated. You're separate entities. The LLC has an EIN and you have a social security number and you run separately. Now you lose that liability protection if you go back and forth across the veil that's between you and your company. So if one day you need to buy groceries for home and you only have your business debit card, then you're using those funds for personal use, the business funds for personal use. That's not good. Now, if you do that once or twice, are you going to get thrown in jail? Absolutely not. Are you going to lose your protection? No, right? But if you go back and forth and commingle funds, is what we call it. This is normally how you lose your protection. You commingle personal funds and business funds and personal expenses and business expenses so that if someone looked at it, they would say, well, there's really not a separate business at all. It's kind of just all the same, person doing stuff there and without any kind of formalities. Then the court could say, you know what, I know you have an LLC, but you've pierced that corporate veil, which means that you're just kind of a sole proprietor. It's all just you. So you want to be careful about that. But that comes down to if you have money in the business and you need to pay for something personally, just make a transfer from the business to you, right? Now you do that every time in the same way, okay? And then you have a pattern that you are protecting the formalities of the business.
You can defend it.
Yeah, and I think it, as Tom said there, I know I got a business credit card and a personal credit card, and I never mix and match them. And if you're going to mix and match them, you spend your personal credit card. And Thomas can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'll use if I'm in some work situation, I can use my personal credit card, and then me as an employee can put in a form for reimbursement, and then my company can reimburse me for that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great way to do it.
Tom, your company can write you a check, correct?
Yeah, your company can write you a check. What I always think about are paper trails, right? So whether that's an online transfer, whether that's a check, whether just something trackable. Don't take money out of an ATM and then hand it to yourself kind of thing. Make it real clear. But yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, good. Well, I'm glad I was able to pop on. And if you all have any other questions, you can always reach me, Madry@asmp.org. Congratulations, Brooke. That's super exciting to start a business. It's like some of the most fun thing you can do. So I'm excited for you. And I hope you all have a great night.
Hey, thank
Thanks,
you so
Tom.
much.
Thank you. Really
appreciate it. Nice surprise.
Good night.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks for coming.
What's Adri up to?
In general, or
Yeah, what have you been taking pictures of?
actually, I got an opportunity to work with studio lighting and strobes, like really intensely, I guess, for the first time. There was a photography meetup for Photos magazine, and the theme was kitschy, which was a lot of fun. I'm not crazy about studio lighting, but I definitely got some of my best shots during that particular meetup. It was very exciting.
That's cool. And you know what? There's a way to make any kind of light work for how you like it. It's just spending the time and having to do it, Because studio lighting can be awful. Just like
I think my bias is mostly that I have strobes. I just hate carrying them.
Yeah.
Maybe Jen, we could do that lighting on location thing again, and it might be nice. We got a little slack on it for doing it in the studio, but we should just go to the park and get her done.
Oh, speaking of that, okay, so circling this about content, it's okay. Some content ideas is okay, and this goes with Adri. I talked to Martha about the whole grant thing because I knew nothing about it. And at some point, it may be neat to have her on and the Art Council. That could be some very interesting content about how she goes to get grants and what she told me that photojournalism is like, it's really, really tough, but how she does the whole thing. So that was pretty, we just had a brief chat about this whole social media thing I was doing, but I brought it up to her. So that was cool. Join the happiest backyard beer fest.
I was just showing JW. I drew all the Disney characters. There's me and there's my wife. And where I drew this for our beer fest.
Aw, that's
Nice.
cute. Awesome. Oh, and then moving on. Justin had a really good idea. Justin, tell me your idea you told me about. Well, you had a couple for programming. I'll just flip it to you.
Well, go with the light one first. A buddy of mine is a rep for Westcott Lighting, and he teaches like an hour-long class, basically almost like an intro to using speed lights and strobes. And I said, if there's any interest, I can reach out to him and maybe have him come on one Thursday night and give his class if people are interested.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool idea. And you've done it and it wasn't boring, right? Through Zoom, you said, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was pretty cool.
And he's okay with medium to small groups like this. We can probably get more as we promote. As we promote it.
I'll talk to him. I'll reach out and see what he says, but I don't think it'll be a problem.
Yeah, maybe we could reach out to the Ohio group that we were partnering with and with the Philly group. So that way we could get a nice audience.
Oh, that expands it even more.
We are now friends with Philly,
Columbus,
and Cleveland.
there you go. Yeah,
And it
so
doesn't
that
take
could
me
be
much
nice.
to reach out to.
There's a mystery
Buffalo.
West Virginia group that nobody knows.
Yeah, so I still don't. I think she was throwing it out. She's lying.
But is it like, you guys all know each other real well and everything, but I don't know what any of you guys do, so.
Oh, yeah,
if you-
that was
if you
rude
just
of us.
wanted to Say like what you do real quick, that'd be interesting, so.
I've never met any of these people. Just
I was gonna
I
say.
haven't
JW
either.
it might
Well, no,
sound
that's
like
not
we
true.
know each other, but we
I
just know
think
each
I
other
met
like
Polly once.
Zoom personalities.
Really?
It's been a
was
year
more
on
than
Zoom.
one, Elliot.
Was it one time? One time we met you?
Oh, it
Twice?
was more than once. It was at that Christmas party where I brought the wrong gift and you gave me, we were supposed to have gift exchange. And I picked up a bag and I brought it with me thinking it was a photography gift exchange. And I looked inside and it was, I don't know, something I bought at Macy's. It was the wrong bag. And you had something, it was like a cooking gadget or something. And you had an extra something for me to give as a gift exchange. I
I've-
felt so stupid. And that was the first time I met you guys. And then,
Must have been a good night. I don't remember any of it.
oh, okay. You must and then,
Was that a Kathy Kelly's?
yes,
Had to be, yeah.
yes. And then there was another time we met at a bar where I could actually hear what people were saying, but the rest of the times it was too hard to talk because it was so noisy.
Yeah.
Oh.
But yes,
Unlike
we met in
this
person a couple times.
Well, tell you what, let's go around the horn.
Okay.
And I mean, we could one or two pictures each. You know, I'll call it out. Justin, you're
Oh,
the
wait, we're showing pictures? Can't she just
Well,
like know who we are?
Just tell her.
And send our Instagrams to her?
Oh, there you go.
Because that would
Okay.
take years.
Yeah.
Just as good. I said one or two, but anyway.
Yeah, but you know that
Justin-
turns into 20
Justin, what do you do and what's your website?
for your Instagram.
Instagram,
Instagram.
at Justin Brill Photo. Just basically sports and athlete portraits right now.
Okay. And actually, after you say it, put it in the text. That will save Brooke from making all the notes.
And say how long you've been in the business too.
Hang on, doing 3 things at once.
Got man syndrome. He can't do more than one thing at a time.
Yeah. I've been a member for couple months now. But I've been shooting sports since 2012.
Transplanted from New York City.
New York City. Yep.
Okay, then I'll work my way across my Dick Brady Bunch grid here. I'm Archie Carpenter, co-president, along with Shelley Lipton, who's not available tonight. And a quick thing that she's checking into while it's in my mind, I got my portfolio review, which was one of my concepts and want to do's. She's been wanting to have a flea market, photo flea market, swap meet, and we bounced around the idea of approaching Tom Madry and seeing if we can do it at Point Park. Excuse me, not Point Park, North Park. Get a pavilion, make it an outside event, and see if we can actually see each other in person. So we're pitching that. We'll see if that happens.
My backyard.
Pardon?
My backyard.
No, yeah, you got a studio we can work out of. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we can have it here.
Inviting you. It's not an ASMP.
If it ever gets warm,
you're all coming over. Yeah.
if it ever gets
Yeah,
warm,
it's not an ASMP event, but we're all coming over. But I've been doing people fashion in my earlier days, some catalog stuff. Now it's been more sports and news, doing wire service photography for UPI. And website is archie@archiecarpenter.com. And honestly, I'm not sure of my Instagram handle. I believe it is photos, plural, photos by a carpenter. So, and I'll try to type that in now. Mark, I'll pass it on to you.
Oh, okay. I thought we were going straight across.
Oh, on my grid, you are straight across.
Oh, okay.
Everybody's screen
Oh,
is
great.
different.
On mine, it's Elliot. So anyway, yeah, I've been in the business 43 years. I ran a studio, a corporate, or an industrial, a studio in Monroeville for 15 or 20 years. And I've been head in my own business for 20. I'm a corporate guy. I shoot industrial and corporate, executive portraits, aerial photography, and architecture. A little bit of everything. So there you go. It's Mark at SiroccoPhoto.com. I don't have an Instagram handle.
Got to do something about that.
Yeah, I know.
In the past, Mark.
Hey, I'm 68 years old, dude. When you get here, you'll know. Anyway, that's me. See you.
On my chart, Jen.
Okay, I've been in business since 2018, really, more or less. I'm a headshot photographer and I have a studio downtown. So that's what I do.
She's just a pop.
Soon to have really good lighting in it.
Yes. Yes. And we're not talking about like strobe lighting. We're talking about
Natural light.
stationary lighting. Not natural, but making
Architectural lighting.
natural. Yeah. Yeah.
Big and heavy.
I tore out my 2 ceilings the other day, Ken. So I'm getting there. Hopefully I'll tear out a wall tomorrow. Just don't, oh wait, this is recorded. Darn it. Don't tell anybody. So never mind.
I'll edit. Rewind. Adri, your turn.
Hello, my name is Adri. I hit 2 years in photography in February, which was very exciting. Portraits, pets, occasionally headshots. I would like to get into photojournalism because I'm also a freelance writer. So I've been trying to network as much as possible. And I actually do have 2 pictures to show if people.
Do it.
Okay. So let's see. This one is one of my favorites. This is my friend Sydney. She gave birth in October to her first baby and asked me to be the godmother. So of course I have taken on the unofficial title of family photographer. I just love her and her face so much.
I like the colors.
Yes.
Matched her earrings to the baby.
Mhm.
Yes. They're very fashion conscious family. And then this is from the photography meetup that I did. This was one of my first opportunities to really work in depth with strobe lighting. And I don't think I've ever seen better skin in one of my photos before. So I really enjoyed that.
Did a good job.
Very nice.
So,
Now you can start combining the two. You know, take a strobe outside, shoot in the shade, and have some fun.
I would love to. Battery powered strobes are super expensive, but that is on my list.
How much can you, Godox is, I don't think.
Godox is cheap.
Well, I've been looking at, like I said, I'm not crazy about strobe lighting, but I have two newer strobes, which I really like. They're actually really powerful considering I spent less than $300 for both of them. But yeah, any opportunity to experiment, I'm into it.
And get a couple 100 feet of extension cord and I've done it. I've done it. I've done it.
Adrian, if you want to come out and borrow stuff, I got more stuff than you'll ever need.
Thank you. I would love
You're welcome to come and take what you like. Yes, as long as you bring it back. Okay. one caveat, you got to bring it back.
Yeah.
I lent another one of our beloved ASMP members, strobe, about a month ago. I haven't seen him since, so I'm gonna have to track him down. He's got one of my favorite strobes. Just busting. He's good for it. I know he's good for it.
Who was that?
Dave?
He's down your way, Mr. Cook.
Oh, yeah.
He needed a high-powered battery strobe, and I happen to have one that he could use. So, and I'm not working, so I just let him have it. But it takes Kevin forever to get stuff back to you. I didn't forget though. I have it written down. I know he has it.
Maybe just send him a little, just ask him how it's going.
No, you know what, Paulie? He knows. He knows. He knows. I'll show up at his door pretty soon if he doesn't give it.
Oh, okay.
Actually, Polly, you're next on my grid.
All right. So I'm Polly Whitehorn. My website is pollywhitehorn.com. I'm a fine art photographer. I photograph a lot of still lifes, flowers, whatever is beautiful.
Dancers.
And I do a lot of post-processing to enhance the images so that they have a sense of magic and artistry to them.
And dancers. Don't forget the dancers.
Oh yeah,
In
my
Cuba.
ballerinas, of course. That's
think-
pictorialism.
I love Polly's ability to find texture in the world and then put those over top of her images that she takes,
Thank
like through opacity and blending and stuff.
Thank you. It's fun.
Who's next?
Elliot, I'm sorry.
I'm a bit of a lifer. I have been in it for be 19 years this year.
Wow.
Grew up. I didn't grow up in the industry. My dad forced me to go to college, and I liked pictures. And I got told to join ASMP as a college kid, and became an assistant and worked with many people in the business, not only in this city but everywhere else, doing assistance and digitex and helping people travel from film to digital libraries, things of that nature. And a couple of years ago, I do a lot of photography, commercial work, advertising work, and I do mostly video now. So I think that video is probably going to be 80% this year, over top of my still pictures. And I said to Jen, I wanted to share some good news, so I'll take this moment to do it. It was a very exciting day. I got to I'm firing a client because I don't want to. They're too bossy, and I don't want to work with them anymore. But I scored. My whole entire summer is booked, and I got a call. Someone loves my cardboard box project. Elmer's Glue actually got in touch with me to maybe do some advertising for them, and
Nice.
as well as someone who does curating stuff for museums. So I'm going to start working on a thing for children's museums on how kids can interact with found objects and make things and do stuff like that. So it was
Good
a
man.
very, very exciting day for me.
And see, it came from something you love doing.
Yeah,
There you go.
20 years of hard ass work, and it led up to a nice day today. Tomorrow, I'm sure I'll be depressed.
Oh, come on.
crying
Enjoy the
forward.
win.
Always,
This is
there's
awesome.
always beer. Remember, always
Yeah,
That's
where's
right.
the beer?
Yeah, there's always beer. But if I could take the time to just say that I love this organization, and if it wasn't for ASMP, as a young person, I'm very happy to see it's mostly young people here today. It's usually not. No offense to my older friends, but I'm very excited that ASMP is turning a corner to the future, and really, to me, they're all about lifting people up with quality information, as you saw tonight, and encouraging each other to respect themselves and to hold. I can't say this one project I got that I was awarded. I stood my ground. I said, I can't do it for any less. I have to have this. I have to have that. I'm getting paid to get on an airplane. I'm getting paid for my per diems. I'm getting paid for my luggage. I said, I stood my ground and I said, this is what the value is. And they said, okay. I didn't, and it's because of ASMP and all the conversations I attend and people saying, you can do it. You're good enough. You're smart enough.
absolutely.
I'm very, very proud of this organization.
If you don't believe in you, no one else will.
Yeah.
Sure.
My mom.
Again,
But your mom's looking to
Congratulations,
pay-
Elliot,
Your mom's looking to pay you $5,000 a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
well, sliding over to Alan, unmute and sign in, please.
Checking in. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Hi, I'm Alan Coley. I have been in business since 2018. I primarily have been shooting rodeo photography. My Instagram link is in the chat. From there, you can hop off to my website, just alancoleyphotography.com. The way I found out about ASMP was through, it's called the Pittsburgh Photography section. I'm just going to call it Pittsburgh Photography Club in the chat so you can find it with the link there. It's a good place if you want to go in to join a local photography club. When I started doing the photography seriously, my wife said, please go join a club where you can talk to other people and not me about this, because I like looking at the pictures, but I don't like talking about I don't want to see the sausage being made. So it's a good group there, lots of varied interest. And like I said, they've had presenters from ASMP in the past who shared what they did, how to join the organization, and that's how I found out about it. That's my story.
Cool. Ken, how did you find us, and what's your specialty? We know we all enjoy it. Let Brooke know.
My name is Ken Lager. I am probably the strangest specialty in the Pittsburgh ASMP group. I have been told that I shoot disaster porn. No offense to anybody. I am the unofficial photographer of the fire departments of the entire South Hills of the city of Pittsburgh. So I respond with them as a member and try to get pictures of my firemen doing the work that they put in day after day to keep the city safe. I found the ASMP after joining a couple of other groups and realizing that I was tired of people talking about themselves, which is kind of funny for what we're doing here. But when I attended, as soon as I joined the ASMP, I came home to my wife, who also wanted to have me stop talking to her about this, and said, I think I found my people. I've learned so much. That book from the ASMP book that I read from cover to cover within my first business practices, at least for the better.
Excellent. And both Elliot and Ken and one other member who's not on our screen tonight, Garen, were honorable mentions in the ASMP yearly photo contest that the national chapter has for all the chapters. So they represented us pretty darn well. And last person on my screen is JW.
What's up? I've been doing this about 2 years full time. Left my day job and have a very supportive wife who pays the health insurance from her full-time job. So that's helpful. It's been going really well. I support kind of the construction, industrial industries, as well as firearms, law enforcement, and the military. And like Elliot, it's been real heavy on video the past year or so. So kind of my COVID project was upgrading some of my equipment and just shooting a lot of personal work to kind of up the production quality that I've been doing for folks. So yeah, it's been fun.
JW, I
real
forgot to
busy.
ask you, were you in the military?
No,
No. Okay, so what was your connection to the to all that?
just like the shooting sports, just kind of getting into it right after college, meeting a couple folks that were active, tagging along with them, and then doing like training classes and getting to know some of the just personalities in the industry and the companies that make stuff.
That stuff is pretty cool that you showed.
Yeah, I did a interesting one last week. A local SWAT cop, he has a YouTube channel, and he's had it for a little bit, but hasn't. I don't know. It's not like huge yet, and so he wanted me to come out and like kind of up the production quality some and get him set up with just a little studio setup in his basement, so his videos would look a little nicer, and then do some stuff out on the range. So that was fun to, yeah, just kind of show him some stuff and do a few videos for him.
Excellent, excellent.
Brooke, can you share your Insta feed?
Here you go. I've got my my website right
Oh.
there. Currently my Instagram and my business, like photography, Instagram and Facebook, don't have anything really on them because I haven't officially launched it yet. But my portfolio is there on my website, which is not a fully functional business website. It's just kind of a place for my portfolio to be right now. So you can see my work, but that's it. There's no other real information there.
Are you using Hotlights or because it looks like you like the old days of Fresnel's and like the glamour.
Some of
of
the
old
older
Hollywood.
work is with hot lights, and then the newer
Yeah.
work is with strobes. So
That looks great.
Do you have a studio here in Pittsburgh?
no, I don't have a studio, and
You missed that part of the
I
conversation.
want to find a place to shoot, like get a studio share or whatever. But
Yeah.
but I've been shooting out of my house just for some portfolio pieces. So yeah.
And then Dave Provosky has just entered the room.
Hey, Dave.
In 30 seconds, minute tops, who are you? What do you do? And then that will wrap up our introductions to Brooke.
Oh, that would be me.
Yes.
I'm Ms. Brooke, and I'm Ms. Addie.
Adri.
80.
Adri. We went-
Agree, there's an
now
article.
we start that. I finally get it right.
I'm
I
having
finally
problems.
get it right. Anyway,
My eyes are so clogged with allergy goop, I can't read the TV screen. Nonetheless,
Adri, you need to change your name.
no.
Funny enough, this is the third time I've changed it. And
Did you make it simpler? For God's sake.
in any event, good evening, everybody. I'm
Hey.
Dave. I'm a
Really
retired
another person.
This
I-
is
I'm a retired-
Dave Poloski.
Dave Perlowski. I am a retired newspaper guy who doesn't work full-time shooting stuff, but does enough full-time stuff to make it worth associating with this batch of pleasant rogues. And for the first time in several years, I am getting hammered with allergies.
oh,
So if I sound like somebody else and if I don't make any sense, it's the allergy meds talking. I am just I've been just really whipped for the last week.
And these are pet-friendly meetings.
Yeah.
Always pet-friendly meetings.
Hey, what's
And
that?
family friendly.
Yeah, if you hear squeaky noises, that would be Woodstock the dog over there. Oh, she's going zooming on us. No? Yep. Go ahead. There's Woodstock over there.
Those
Aw.
missing teeth or just clean ones?
Dog from hell. Dog from hell.
But
That's Hell, Arkansas.
Ask Adri a question. Adri, what are you said you're in college or you're,
Yes, so I took a year off, but I'll be starting a master's in sociology in the fall.
where are you going?
Duquesne.
Duquesne, okay. I'm introducing her to Martha. through an
Okay.
email. So, okay.
Oh, good.
No, I actually think that she might be someone we could get to come and talk, because she's so wonderful at finding a job where she can explore a subject, something that so many of us aren't able to do. And she's very good at grant writing. I think someone mentioned grant writing. And she knows that world, and she goes deep into a subject, and I think that that's a wonderful, and I think more than anything, she'd always be happy to talk about money and charging and appropriate fees and expenses, and I think she would love to share something like that. So if we could put that on the docket to reach out to her, that would be wonderful.
Okay. Well, last call, ladies. I mean, I can talk all night. I'm in no rush. Usually somebody has to run off to dinner, but looks like we're doing good.
I didn't realize it was after 9. I should probably
Be useful.
probably be done.
Yeah, I'm gonna bag it too.
Well, again, I can't thank everybody enough.
Adri, I know your name.
And I'm going to say it,
I want to
Adri.
know what her last
All
couple
together,
names was.
all together now.
I-
1, 2, 3.
Adri.
Adri.
I want to know what those last couple names were. I'm
Hey, Orange,
perplexed.
take a screenshot.
So
The Elliot smile. Okay.
first there was Adrian, but no one could pronounce it or spell it for some reason.
Good God.
And then I tried Adri before that, but it didn't work, and people kept calling me Audrey. So I went back to Adrian, and again, you could spell it.
Adri, I got one for you. My mother's name was Armella. Now that's a weird name, right? So everyone called her Arch. I have no idea why Arch. It's not, there's no such thing as a shortening of Armella.
Well,
But
it's
they
like
call everyone
Robert
called
turning into Bob. That's a weird
Arch.
Edward turning into Ted.
But
And
what
I
is
get Artie all the time.
What is yeah, that's funny. It's funny. Well, I've had a boring name my whole life. So like I like interesting names, and I find it funny when people have problems with names. So
Everybody, good night.
good night. Nice
Good
being
night,
with y'all.
Jen. Good night.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Good night, New York.